Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Rashi, and I'm a college and career counselor at Pattonville High School here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's my pleasure to welcome you across the state to our session this afternoon on non-college options. So high-paying, high-demand jobs for students that are looking for careers that don't require a four-year degree. So in just a few minutes, we will hear from a variety of presenters across the state of Missouri in all different career fields. And we will also be sharing a presentation with you. So before we get started though, I want to share a little bit of housekeeping information for you. So students and counselors, you are on a webinar, which means that the presenters cannot see or hear you. So if you'd like to ask questions, please type them into the Q&A and the presenters will answer your questions as we go along throughout the session today. As a reminder, your camera and your microphone are off, so you'll need to use the Q&A. We also encourage you to sign up for additional sessions. We have workshops going on through Thursday this week. You can find those sessions on our website at MOACAC.org. We also have already completed 3 weeks of sessions, and those recordings are on our website, also at MOACAC.org. Today's recording will be up on our website in about 1 to 2 days. So we are recording it just to be aware of that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Brian. I'm going to switch out the slides, so give us just a moment. And Brian, if you want to go ahead and start introducing yourself while I switch the slides.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. It's a pleasure to be here with all you students out there in virtual today for kind of an overview of where Missouri's best industry strengths are and some of the high need occupations that you can get without a four-year college degree. And there's a lot of them. In fact, they're actually trending north. We're getting more and more companies that are revising their types of recruitment practices. What they require for a particular degree is not what it normally would be as far as the job or occupational role. So with that, I wanted to just kind of share a little bit. We've gone through COVID, you're living it right now, and it has really upset some of the dynamics of business and work as we know them. And if you look at the industries around the state of Missouri, of course, your hospitality, your restaurants, your service sector, they've been really impacted negatively by this. And as you know, when you go into a restaurant today, folks are wearing PPE. There's different types of practices. If you've ever been to Chick-fil-A, you know exactly what's going on there. They take all your order remote for the most part. You can go through an app, you can swipe, you can do virtual payment. There's all kinds of things that have changed. But there's a lot of industries that have weathered the COVID quite well. Construction, manufacturing, healthcare, with the minor disruptions that they're having right now, of course, but they've weathered it very well, and we'll hear from the healthcare sector shortly. The reality is we're in a new transition, new time, and it brings a lot of opportunity. But what are Missouri's strengths? As a young person right now, you're looking at all the different career pathways that you have before you, and some of those career pathways have really strong footprints here in Missouri. And what you see before you are those top 6 to 7 industries that we are really proud of. Advanced manufacturing, specifically in the auto and the aerospace industries. We have production companies like Toyota, GM, Ford, as well as Boeing, and all the supply chain that's connected to that. And you'll hear from somebody from Boeing here shortly about some of those job opportunities. But if you think about, we have 114 counties in Missouri, and in each county, there's at least one auto OEM manufacturer or one aerospace manufacturer that's into that supply chain. So Missouri has a really strength there. Bio-life sciences is another strong area. If you look to St. Louis alone, there's over 900 research scientists that are in St. Louis. But even though they're PhD scientists, it takes 2 lab technicians that don't require a PhD scientist and don't require a 4-year degree to actually work next to those PhD scientists making really good money. If you look at ag tech and food solutions, Missouri is one of the crown jewels of ag tech and food solutions. We have companies like Triumph, Kraft. I mean, it's just abundance throughout the state of Missouri, and there's a lot of good jobs. Financial professional services as well. We have a strong footprint in St. Louis, Kansas City with financial professional services. And we'll get to some of the job opportunities here next. Healthcare, and you're going to hear from some of the best in the business from BJC Healthcare and the Missouri Hospital Association, so I won't take their thunder. They have a lot of good opportunities to share. But did you know Missouri is actually a leader in IT and technology, and specifically women in IT? We're one of the top 10 states for women, the amount of women in IT, and a lot of these jobs do not require a 4-year education. In fact, many can start with a bootstrap program from Launch Code to NPower, other programs that are in the state. You can get a 2-year degree at a community college and go right into the IT sector, making upwards of $50,000, $60,000 a year. And then transportation logistics. We are one of the strongest transportation logistics centers in the US. If you think about, we're 7th in the country for the amount of bridges, roadways that we have, but we have some freshwater ports in Kansas City, St. Louis, and many other areas. And then we have a rail system that runs from Canada all the way down to Panama through KC Southern. So logistically, we have a lot of good jobs. And I'll kind of share, like, go ahead and forward the slide, Michelle. So if you think about some of the jobs that are out there, and you're going to hear specifically from Boeing shortly, but a production worker, the average starting salary for a manufacturer, production worker, entry-level job is about $15 an hour. But the average annual salary is close to $59,000. And you can find jobs anywhere in the state, from Triumph Foods in St. Joseph to Brewer Science in Rolla, Missouri, to Briggs & Stratton down in Poplar Bluff, and everywhere in between. In fact, the advanced manufacturing space in Missouri accounts for 12% of our gross domestic product. So it's a really good opportunity, and it's trending upward on the jobs. Lab technician. I just searched on Indeed.com this morning and came up with this one. Chemistry technician at Muro Nutrascience in Kansas City, high school diploma with a strong aptitude for math, and you can get into a starting entry-level lab technician space job. So great opportunity there. Bayer, formerly known in St. Louis as Monsanto, was bought out. They have seed technicians around the state of Missouri. So if you're in a rural area like Marshall, Missouri, you could get a job working for Bayer as a seed technician. But here's one of the key features. This is an entry-level job. They pay for educational assistance. So if you want to go back to school, or if you want to just start school for the first time and you have your career path defined at that point, you can go into a 2-year college or a 4-year college, and Bayer will help you pay for that experience. And that's a key part. You know, many of you out there don't have the funds to pay for your college experience, depending on how that looks. Some of you can't afford a 4-year college or may not have the funding for that because of your family situation. So instead of taking a lot of debt, a lot of the companies, and you'll hear from many shortly, have education assistance programs that they can provide for you, that you can get this funding to help you on your step to that next level. Insurance agent, Aflac, is looking for insurance agents. They do not require a 4-year degree. They have a training academy that they'll put you through. Now, of course, they have a lot of their insurance agents that are 4-year. They come out of a college and they go right into Aflac. But Aflac is starting to recognize, just like many companies are, that if you have a work ethic, you're good with customers, good with people, they can put you in a training program that will put you on a trajectory for advancement in a new career. And that's one thing that you should look for, is the different types of career pathways that companies have. Before you really get into your college experience, I would encourage you to go online and look at the job placements around your area and see what's available. See what the requirements are and what these companies are looking for. IT and technology. Ameren has an IT programmer assistant that just posted recently. They list a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. And there's a lot of community colleges, OTC, State Technical College, Metropolitan Community College, and a variety of others that have a 2-year degree program in IT where your starting salary could be anywhere from $40,000 all the way up to $60,000 or more. And so IT technology is a great pathway, and I encourage you to look at that. And then transportation logistics. So say like you come out of high school and you have no clue what you want to do, but there's an Amazon or a Walmart regional service center, a distribution center, and you can get a job there anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour, entry-level wage. But you, in 3 years, you can have jobs like domestic operations agent, and they will pay for a 2-year degree to go through this. So in their posting, they listed a 2-year degree and or 3 years of warehouse experience preferred. And that's a great opportunity for you as a young person that if you don't know where you want to go, but you like working with your hands, you like to be on your feet, move around, transportation logistics can move you in the right direction. Plus, on the back end, the transportation logistics side, there's a lot of analyst positions where you're working with freight and you're dealing with different types of companies and how to move that freight back and forth across the globe. So think about that as an opportunity. And then I'll lead with this on last, and if you can forward the slide. Employers throughout the course of the COVID talked to us at the Missouri Chamber on what they need as a new employee or what they are trending for those job skills and that they need. And some of these speakers that you're going to hear from shortly are going to touch on this. But agility is one of the key skills. Resiliency, collaborative, being able to work as a team and understand the value of what that team brings to the end goal and whatever that is at the company. Emotional intelligence. That includes being motivated, self-awareness, empathy for what others are going through and what you yourself are going through. And of course, critical thinking. There's no other piece more critical to an employer than you able to troubleshoot a problem and put a solution into place and then drive it down the field. The other piece that I'd like to add that's not here, communication and work ethic are still top skills that employers need. They need you to be able to communicate directly, one-on-one, small group. They need to be able to communicate through technology, be it email, phone, or texting. They need communication skills of all the individuals that work for the company. It doesn't matter if you're in production, it doesn't matter if you're a welder, it doesn't matter if you're a nurse. You need to be able to communicate effectively and get your point across. And then you need to show up. Every day you're asked to show up for school on time, show up to the football field for practice, show up to band in early morning. You're there to show up and actually perform at any of those roles. And so the same thing for your employment. Now, how are things changing in the world of work? The work environments are shifting under our feet. In fact, before COVID hit, 54% of employees, if given the opportunity to work remote, work from home, would take that opportunity. So, and that was pre-COVID. And now we saw a lot of employers go right into remote work settings. And so we're seeing employers ask for flexibility in their workforce. They're going to more goal and performance oriented measures, and they're not worried about the minutia of the day-to-day work. They're being supportive. They're offering their employees more incentives, more healthcare, more mental health, more types of incentives to allow them to be more productive in work. And then the other thing, they're being more communicative to them on their direction, their needs, and what their expectations are. And so we're seeing a shifting. In fact, many of our employers right now, they say they're not going to bring all their office staff back into the actual office until possibly January later in 2021. So the world of work is shifting. But the piece to this is you as a young person are very adaptable, you're very creative, and you have a great trajectory with whatever career pathway you go on, as long as you stay focused and as long as you look at options and talk to professionals out in the world of work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our next guest speaker, who's going to share his story and what the opportunities are at Boeing.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Dan Stroot. I'm the Senior Manager for Technical Training here at Boeing for Boeing Defense Systems and Boeing Global Services. And what I'm going to discuss with you is an opportunity to be able to get into the Boeing company. And what we have is what we call our Boeing pre-employment program. That is a direct pipeline into good manufacturing jobs. So on this front page, you'll see the link there to be able to actually go in and apply for it. We are very fortunate here in St. Louis. We've won a lot of military contracts on the MQ-25, our T-7, F-15EX. So we are hiring a lot of people this year. Just in the manufacturing jobs alone, we've hired over 300. We still have another 150 to go this year, as well as for the next 3 years to be able to perform this work on our military fighter jets. Next. All right. So we've hired over 900 students out of this program. And what it is a partnership between the St. Louis Community College and Boeing. It was training that we did internal, and now we're doing it over here at the college. It is free. So that's one program that's very unique out there. Boeing's paying for this program for the students to go through. And if they're successful in this Boeing pre-employment program, they're granted an interview when we're hiring, which we've hired every single person coming out in the last 2 years. Program's been in existence since 2007, so it's not something that we just started. Within this, and it is a union position, it's a manufacturing union position, and basically it's drilling holes and installing fasteners to make aircraft assemblies that will turn into airplanes. We actually have two paths. One is a sheet metal assembly mechanic, which is 5 days a week, or I'm sorry, five weeks, 8 hours a day, or 8 weeks for the night class. It's 200 hours in length in the evening class. We're just providing a better opportunity for working adults or students to be able to come in, and we just, instead of 8 hours a day, we go like 5.5 hours, and we just kind of spread it out. The other one is our composite assembly mechanic. It's 3 weeks long during day shift and 4 weeks long during the night class. Once again, roughly 120 hours to be able to complete that. Right now, we're not running any composite assembly mechanic classes, but we're running every single class that we can get on the sheet metal assembly. And we need candidates. So if you're not interested, please spread that word. It could be our veterans coming out of the military. It could be people that are unemployed right now, looking for a job. It could be people that want to transition from one work skill to the next. It could be straight from high school. We've hired a lot of folks out of our CTEs that come through the program, or just regular high school. You know, as upon graduation and stuff, they come into the program. And within 5 weeks, they're basically within the Boeing company. There's certainly a hiring process that they have to go through, interviews and background checks and drug tests and so forth. But for a relatively small amount of time, you can get a good manufacturing job. Starting pay guaranteed $19 an hour. That's just shy of 40,000. With overtime, 10 to 20% is not uncommon in the manufacturing world. Put you well over 40. You're guaranteed per contract, 50-cent raise every January and 50-cent raise every July. It's called a wage progression. That's guaranteed. That's $1 an hour a year plus cost of living. Education, Boeing pays for that education. You have to wait 1 year, and then they'll start paying for that education. But of these 900 students that we've actually hired, completed and hired within the Boeing company, the piece that we never really envisioned since 2007 is as people come in, they'll get their degrees and they'll go into other paths or functions within the company. It could be engineering, it could be management, could be planning, could be accounting, whatever the case may be. Boeing's educational programs is one of the best in the world. Next. All right. So really, if we're looking at that candidate, we're looking for mechanical aptitude. And it doesn't mean that you had to work in an aerospace company or some other manufacturing environment, right? It can just be experience working on cars, boats, motorcycles with family, friends, a mentor, renovation projects around the home, woodworking, just something that just really has some type of mechanical aptitude, typically works best. There's other cases where people had absolutely no experience. And if they really listen, follow directions and stuff like that, they've done a fine job and have passed the class. Willingness to learn is a key. A positive attitude. We definitely want a positive attitude. We're building some of the world's best fighter jets in the world. And we definitely have to have a good positive attitude, not only for learning, but then also to be able to show up to work every single day. And we are accepting those resumes right now for up and coming classes. Once again, down at the bottom is the link to be able to apply to the program. Next. All right. Just a little bit on what's required. You must be 17 years or older to start the program. And you have to be 18 years old to get hired into Boeing. So we've had some high school that started, they're 17 years old, and they graduated from the program, and they actually had to wait a couple months to actually be hired in until they turned 18. You got to either have a high school diploma or a GED. You also do like an interview with our St. Louis Community College advisor. There's a couple tests, pre-tests that you have to take. Your Missouri work key assessments, which in a lot of cases, you're already taking those work key assessments in high school. But there's math, you have to score a 4. Graphics literacy, you have to score a 4. Workplace documents, you have to score a 5. And then we also have a fastener layout that you have to come in and do. And that's basically just being able to lay out a fastener pattern to where you're going to drill the holes and install fasteners. So once again, if you're looking for an opportunity, this is not a job, this is a career. Over 140,000 employees worldwide, and the opportunity to not only work on the fighter jets and the commercial airliners, but it is a fantastic opportunity to get in. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dan. Looks like I'm up next. My name is Jennifer Irvine. I'm with BJC Healthcare, and I represent an organization, BJC Healthcare. We are the largest employer in the state of Missouri. We have over 31,000 employees, and the department that I'm out of specifically is called BJC School Outreach and Youth Development. So that is the department that's dedicated to working with schools. We start in high schools, and we work with the students and the teachers to provide exposure to careers. Because as was referenced a couple of presenters ago, you know, when you think about where we are now with COVID, and you think about people that are working consistently, essential workers, a lot of those are careers within healthcare. So we want to make sure that we're able to sustain our pipeline. And again, we do that by partnering with schools. We offer through our department job shadowing. We partner a lot with high schools that have career and technical programs, CTE programs. However, that is not a requirement for a high school. Any high school that's near one of our 15 hospitals, we can forge a partnership. We develop specialty programs for those schools. An example of some of the programs that we facilitate CAPS programs, Pre-Professional Health Science Academy, and we offer internships for students that are required to do internships as a part of their high school curriculum. Of course, career fairs, our professionals from our organization love to go out and do show and tells, talk about what they do on a day-to-day. And even in the space that we are in now, if you're a school or you're thinking about pulling together an opportunity for career professionals to talk to students, for those counselors that are out there, we're able to offer these opportunities in a virtual manner. So at the end of the presentation, you'll see my contact information. Reach out and we can talk about how to virtually keep your students and yourself connected to these essential, hard to fill careers. We also are kicking off our Fall Explorers post, and you can get information about that on our website as well as visiting explorers.com. Go ahead to the next slide. I just want to give you a glimpse of some of the professionals when we're talking about positions that don't necessarily require a degree. The importance of looking at some of these careers is twofold. Number one, if you're thinking about staying in the St. Louis area, maybe going to the community college or a local college here, and you want to work, I would highly recommend students that once you get that high school diploma, start looking at BJC Healthcare, because I've listed a number of positions. I won't go through them all. I will highlight a few, and then the presenter after me will talk a little bit more about career ladders. However, when you look at any of these positions listed, all of these you can apply for once you get your high school diploma, you have to be at least 18 years or older to start working at BJC, but you can work and be trained as a patient care tech. You can work in the medical lab. And once you get in these entry-level positions, there's room for growth, but also an essential piece of it is we've talked about helping to pay for school. So from day one, when you began working for BJC Healthcare, you are eligible for tuition reimbursement, which means that we have a benefit that's dedicated to helping you pay for your education to go further in your career. Or if you like the career you're in, you can certainly tap into some of our internal resources within our Career Center to learn how to advance without going to school. So you can advance with on-the-job training. Some of the other benefits that we offer, of course, health benefits, that's going to be important as you look for a job. You want to make sure that you're going into a career that offers those things that you may need, health benefits. I talked a little bit about the career development piece of it, as well as tuition assistance and on-the-job training and educational opportunities. So again, I would really, really recommend to you, and I know I'm going fast, I'm sharing a lot of information because believe me, there is just a wealth. This is just a tip of the iceberg. We know with healthcare, students, teachers, you know about a doctor, you know about a nurse. I would encourage you to Google search, to follow up on some of the websites that we'll provide you with, to look at some of these entry-level positions and really, really give them a second thought. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to Jill Williams, who will take you further into health-related careers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Williams. I'm the Vice President of Workforce Initiatives with Missouri Hospital Association. And like Jennifer said, in healthcare, your job choices are many, and there are careers with everyone with varying levels of education. So something for everyone in healthcare. You can work in clinics, you can work in homes, hospitals, laboratories. You can work directly with patients or not with patients at all. There's really something for everybody's interest. And like she said, many individuals can start with an entry-level position with really limited healthcare knowledge. Hospitals offer training and provide their employees with continued knowledge and career advancement opportunities, as you can see here on this slide, how individuals can start in an entry-level healthcare position and then through on-the-job training or through education paid for by the hospital, work your way up through the organization and advance your career. Next slide, please. I also wanted to introduce our website, MissouriHealthCareers.com. And this is where you can do many things. One, you can see there where it says find your path. This is a quiz that you can take to determine which careers in healthcare might be a fit for you. Where it says career spotlight, these are testimonials of various healthcare professionals describing their educational path and what their job duties are that they do every day in that field. And then as you can see on the right with the surgical technician example, each career out here shows a job description. It will also list the academic requirements. It'll also have links to all of the educational institutions in Missouri where you can go and get the training, and then shows things like average salary, job growth, blood interaction, patient interaction, and more. So I really encourage you to go out there and check our website out because it's got a lot of valuable information about healthcare careers. And then we also offer free spiral-bound career guides and brochures that teachers and counselors that you can order for your students. And it doesn't matter how many. We have some schools that order 25, and then we have others that order 500 to 1,000. We also have posters that are loosely based on the Fortnite video game. There's actually one on the floor in my background. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but that highlights our most in-demand careers in healthcare, our 5 top in-demand careers. And most of those don't require a 4-year degree. So those are wonderful additions that you can hang up around various places in your school, in the cafeteria, in the nurse's office, in the science, the math classrooms, wherever it may be. So you can see there, you can order all these things I'm talking about on our website, the MissouriHealthCareers.com. At the blue banner where it says request materials, you can click on the red or orange order here button, and that's where you get started to place an order. So if you have any questions, again, my email and phone number will be at the end of the slide, the last slide, so please feel free to reach out at any time. So that's all I have, and I'll turn it over to the next presenter.
All right, that's me. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Barnhart. I'm a paramedic firefighter with Pattonville Fire District, as well as an instructor at St. Louis County Fire Academy. And we'll kind of go over what education you need to become a paramedic and firefighter. The first thing that I'll say is, depending upon where you live, all the rules change depending, as far as the departments that you work for. So there's a minimum standard as far as firefighter 1 and 2 that is set forth by the Missouri Division of Fire Safety. And you can go on their website and see where the classes are being hosted if there's one close by you. Some of the courses are offered through local or technical college or community colleges. Some of them are even offered through technical college while you're in high school. I know that North County Tech had a class. I'm not sure if they still do, if you're in the St. Louis area. Also, some places like St. Louis City or St. Louis County had their own fire academy. So what I would recommend is, if you're interested in becoming a firefighter, go to one of your local fire stations and ask them what the rules are, and kind of have them help you set your path as far as what you want to do. Next slide, please. And that doesn't seem like that. Yeah, if I could get the next slide. There you go. Most fire departments and fire districts are requiring you to be at least an EMT. An EMT license can be obtained through a variety of resources. It could also be a vocational school or community college, technical school of some sort. Whenever I say EMT, some of the skills that you can do as an EMT are splint broken bones, do patients assessments, they teach you how to deliver babies, and you assist people with medicine that's currently prescribed to them. Typically, you'll see the EMTs driving the truck, at least in St. Louis County. EMTs mostly drive drive the ambulance, and then the paramedics are in the back with the patient providing care. In order to be an EMT, in order to be a paramedic, you have to be an EMT first, and you have to complete all of the course, and then you have to sit for a national test. A paramedic, the different job skills or requirements are: you can intubate someone, which is putting a tube down their throat and breathing for them. You can start IVs. You can read what all the bumps and squiggles on the electrocardiogram monitors. You deliver medicine that we carry on the truck that is not prescribed to those people, but we go through all of our training and know when to give the medicine and how much medicine to give, or any contraindication. And we can also administer narcotics. And the next slide is just a summary of my contact information. So I'm not sure if you need that or not, but yep, if you're interested, send me an email and I can help you out as best I can. Thanks for the time.
My turn? Okay, so I'm with Abbott EMS, and we are EMTs and paramedics, kind of what was touched on with fire. And what Abbott does is we have an EMT Academy that high school students can apply for. And the one that we generally reserve for them is our June Academy. But if you're an early graduate, that's okay. You can apply for one of the winter courses. And what the course is, it will help you obtain an EMT license after a 5-week accelerated course. Students generally go to school, it's Monday through Friday. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are all days where the teacher will teach the student how all the skills that an EMT needs to know. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are study days. So they're done within Abbott. But the whole time that the student is there, whether it's a study day or it's a day that they're being taught, they get $9.45 an hour. So everything's done in Abbott and from 8 to 5. And then once they attain, it's their national registry, to get their license, they get a bump in pay. They're employed with Abbott. So they go up to $13.94 an hour. They get benefits, 401k, vacation time, health benefits, things along those lines. And then what they can do is after 6 months of being an EMT, if they would like to apply for paramedic, they can do that. We have a class that we offer. Generally, it's around 13 to 18 months, whether it's accelerated or if it's not, it's the 18 months. But that'll help get a paramedic license. And from paramedic, there's a lot of opportunities that people can do. They can stay with Abbott. They can work on the ambulances. Or if they wanted to do fire, that's always an opportunity because a lot of fire departments require people to be paramedics anymore. There's a lot of different like total access urgent cares. They take EMTs and paramedics. A lot of people get their EMT license so that way that they get patient care hours so they can apply for different programs in the health industry. And yeah, so basically a person will have to be 18 years of age to be employed with Abbott, but they can apply and be accepted into the academy at 17. They just can't test for their national registry until they're 18. And so that's when they can be employed with Abbott. Let me see here. Yeah, you just have to be able to pass a drug test. We have a physical agility test that you would have to take. But I would definitely say if you're interested in working on an ambulance or getting into any kind of healthcare, what we say is, you know, no math, biology, AMP, any kind of medical terminology, because that'll be one of the requirements to be accepted into the EMT Academy at Abbott. But that's what we offer.
Hey, thank you, everyone. And this is Michelle. I am not anywhere at all skilled in construction or as an electrician or plumbing. I don't even play one on TV. However, I am going to share this screen with anyone tuning in. If you have questions or interest, one of the other areas that we hear a lot about that is in demand, and Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be the skilled trades and apprenticeship areas. And so I've put some links here or places you can go on the internet to find more information in Missouri, in particular the Missouri Build Your Future. If you just Google that, that is a Missouri website that has information about career pathways in construction. The Building Union Diversity and Sisters in the Brotherhood are both organizations that are helping to bring diversity into the skilled trades. And the way I share this with students is that it's an earn while you learn. So many times you are being paid $13, $14, $15 an hour on the job site while you are learning under a skilled tradesman. And you may be doing that for 3 or 4 years, but during that time you are being paid, you are earning benefits, you are earning advancement as you go through various checkpoints along your training. And after that 3 or 4 year training period, you will then be a journeyman, which is now you are the expert and the teacher in the field. And we're finding that many people who are working in the skilled trades are at retirement age or nearing retirement age. So there is a great gap in the workforce that they're needing. I think that's probably true of a lot of our speakers today, that there's this gap of young people coming into the career fields and where we don't necessarily need that 4-year degree. So this skilled trades and apprenticeship would be another one. It does vary by the skilled trade. It varies if it's union or non-union. So my advice would be wherever you are in the state, reach out to someone who works in that particular trade or If you're in a metropolitan area or using the internet, you'll be able to find the local union that covers your region, and they would be able to walk you through what the requirements are to apply, what the process looks like in your part of the state. But and I think this taps into what Brian was saying earlier, and just there's a lot of need across the state with many of our employers in our manufacturing that they need these skilled trades. So with that, I think we're open for questions. And again, you can put your questions in the Q&A box for any one of us. And we will, if anyone has something that they want to throw out there while we're waiting for the questions.
I'll just throw out this old cliche, students and counselors, whomever on, as you're thinking about careers, you know, the beauty of all that we've shared with you is that whether it's blood and guts or whether it's construction, whatever the case, there is a spot that you can go into right out of high school. And that is important to know. It helps to reinforce that goal of saying, when I graduate, I will have a career pathway in mind. But also, most of us have talked to you about opportunities to explore those careers. We shared websites with you. So I would encourage you to please take advantage of the valuable information that has been shared with you. These are some very, very unique opportunities that you have a chance to take advantage of. So.
And there was a question that did come in, and it's a question that many of you can answer. So I'll let Mark go ahead and take this one first. But the question is, out of all the career jobs, how did you know you wanted to pick that specific option? So Mark, if you can kind of address that and then go around the room.
All right. Well, the way I found out that I wanted to be a firefighter paramedic was we had to call 911 for my dad whenever I was 8 years old. And he's a bad diabetic. His blood sugar was really low, and there were 6 firefighters who were kind of wrestling with him, trying to start an IV and give him medicine. I watched as much of that as I could at the ripe age of 8 before I went out in the family room and started bawling my eyes out. And one of the firefighters came up to me, gave me a big hug, told me my dad was going to be all right, took me outside and showed me the truck. And then 5 minutes later, the guy who I thought was Superman, my dad, walked out of the house, and they took him to the hospital in the ambulance. So I made up my mind that day that whether I was the person who had to give help to someone who didn't know they needed it, or if I was the one who had to give a family member a hug on their worst day, that was what I was going to be. So at that point, I just kind of knew my career path, found people to help me make that happen, and I was on an ambulance at the age of 19. So been doing it ever since, and never really worked a day in my life because I love what I do.
I will jump in here with a resource. We had, Jennifer and I were on a different session yesterday afternoon at 4 for the Exploring Group. And this is a division of the Boy Scouts. And if you are in the St. Louis area, I think it's STLBA, STL Boy Scouts of America.org. So Exploring is a group. It does exist beyond St. Louis, but it's a career exploration group, and it offers different businesses and organizations can host a post, which is basically a club for high school students to explore their career. So here in St. Louis, we have fire, we have police department posts. Boeing has one. The healthcare BJC has one.
We do.
Watlow, engineering, Edward Jones. And so you might want to look for exploring opportunities in your part of the state, which again is like a career connection with an employer. The other thing is that if you don't have a formalized program, just reach out to employers in your area or work with your counselor, and your school counselor can help you, put that email together or help you reach out. My experience is that most employers are very willing to speak to high school students, and if possible, to allow them to come in and job shadow or, just to learn a little bit more. And some programs like BJC and others have formal internship programs. So there's definitely a way. You may have to just reach out a little bit, step out of your comfort zone a little bit, but you'll be well received.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looks like we are about out of time. I think we did answer all of our questions. So again, on behalf of Missouri Association of College Admission Counselors and our students across the state, I want to thank all of our presenters this afternoon for sharing time and their expertise. Hopefully everyone on the call grabbed a screenshot of their contact information. Students, they will also be receiving your contact information in the next week, and so you may get a follow-up from one of our presenters as well. So students, lastly, I'm going to, when I end the webinar, you'll be presented with a quick 4-question survey that we do ask for your feedback. So without further ado, again, I want to say thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.